Much as I'm enjoying the Tokyo Japan Olympics, I gotta admit, it's been cutting in my anime time. There hasn't been any new Shaman King or even Love Life. No Love Life for the past 2 weeks because of the Olympics. So, but that can't be helped. However, magical record, Madoka Magica Gaiden came out today. Well, I believe it was a couple of days ago. I forgot when, but I'm reviewing it today because I watched it today, so I might as well talk about it. So I got another thing to talk about. Thank goodness. Pretty dry in the news, but before I get into that, another thing came in today. So I want to show you guys. Easy now. There we go. Beatless. Not a lot of people know about Beatless, but it was an okay anime. This is Alicia on an Android. This thing's not stable. it's not stable, but it's nice. Let me take it off real quick. This is Alicia. Oh, there's another one, but it was too tall. This one's too wide, and this one's too tall. So I had to go decide which one to use, but chose Alicia. Very good. It's from Beatless. Came out like what 2017, winter of 2017. I was watching it then, and not a lot of people were into it, but I myself enjoyed it for what it was. Because the main character May was playing, but he wasn't, being a sap about his true feelings. So I at least appreciate that. My only problem with this figurine, it's nice. My only problem with it is how unbalanced it is. It relies on one thing for it to stand on, and sometimes there's always a critical flaw with these things. You know what I'm saying? And when you put it on and try to keep it stable and stay in one place, it's perfect. But then when you're trying to move it, it just comes completely a pain in the butt to put back together. To the point you're like, oh my god. It's just, you just don't want to touch it. It can't be touched no more because it's that precious. I'll deal with it later. Now on with the review. One thing is when you're trying to tell a story with a popular name and you have new characters to it, you kind of want the previous characters not to overshadow the new characters. No matter how much you love the old characters, when you're doing a show with new characters, you want them to truly stand on their own, have their own story. You can do hints and references of past characters and you have them in there, but it's best for them not to overstay their welcome or to overshadow the main cast, or else the story itself becomes kind of obsolete. It stops being about the new characters and more about the old ones, which I've seen stories done this plenty of times. King and Ashura is this, and King and Omega, you got new characters, but they got overshadowed by previous characters in the latest chapter to the point that the new characters are kind of becoming obsolete. You should never do this in your stories. In fact, I've yet received my copy for the Neo World Ends of You. I hope it doesn't do that as well. We'll have to wait and see. Well, anyways, the reason why I'm saying this because I'm watching this first episode of season 2 of Magical Record, and it feels that way, where Monica and them are going to go to Kamahara City, and they're going to overshadow the main cast. It's going to be all about them, especially Homura and her thing. I'm guessing the way Homura still has hope. So I'm guessing that this is an earlier Homura. Not one that truly went through infinite time loops, but one that's just starting out to do it in a way because she's still kind of inexperienced when it comes to her fighting. She still has her original hairstyle and stuff and still wears her glasses. So this is a fresh kind of Homura. So we're knowing that this timeline that Homura is going to be in is probably going to be obsolete, or it might be kind of like Kingdom Hearts where it'll tie in to the later newer stuff down the road. Who knows? Well, with that being said, it shows what we already know about it. Well, for those who've read, the side content of Madoka Magica. And yes, they have side content. A lot of people don't know that, but yes, when it comes to manga and stuff like that, where it shows stuff like Mamimi, how she was this gold standard as a magical girl, the ideal of a magical girl, and everyone came to her how Kyoka was her actual first disciple slash friend, but those two split off because of ideals, how the wish backfired. Then you had Sayaka, who wanted to be just like Mami, but kind of failed at it. She was trying so hard to be something that she wasn't, instead of just being herself. And of course, you had Madoka, who was just a ditzy, hopeful little girl, but at the same time, she was too very well inexperienced when it came to certain things. So this entire episode was pretty much showing how they're dealing with a different way of finding out the truth behind magical girls. Whereas there's no way out, whether you get defeated by a witch or you become a witch yourself. It seems to be the only way out. But Homeruns have a vision saying, come to Kamehameha City, where all magical girls can be saved. However, Kamehameha City has the strongest witches, where the ones that they're in their own city are not nowhere near as strong. However, they're having problems with their own witches in their own city, so how do you expect to defeat witches in Kamehameha City? The thing about Kamehameha City that I've seen so far is that most of the magical girls join factions, and those factions take out the witches, because they're so powerful. You can't defeat a witch by yourself in that city. That's just how powerful the witches is. You can do it if you're very skilled in a city that Madoka and them are in, but you can't do it in Kamehameha. So anyways, we're seeing Sayaka in her usual state, where she has an ability where she can't be killed by a witch. However, she is more likely to become a witch because her doubtfulness and her despair, her trying to limit herself up to Mami, which she can't, or whether it's come to her own wish backfiring against her. So we've seen her become a witch. We've seen her become an arbiter, a secretary for Madoka as well. And it seems like in the future, a sneak peek of the Madoka Daga, the fourth movie, she's going to be a fusion of a witch slash magical girl as well, which there's also that. Despite that, she's going through her same tactics, and even her as one of my favorite characters is her flawedness that I like so much as well. You also have the thing where everyone is pairing themselves up to Mami, but in fact, Madoka knows that Mami is also flawed, where she cries by herself. She is always scared. She's actually terrible when it comes to keeping up with her homework, but she didn't want the others to see that because they wanted to keep up that appearance of that in a way. But now that Madoka told them all that yes, even she has her flaws, they even have her thread, the unbreakable golden thread. It's very useful, where Sayaka uses it for, as a slingshot, or Hamura uses it to help keep her hand steady. It shows how she was that glue to help keep them together, She gave them that hope. So even when they were gone, they used that string in their own way to keep them to better themselves as magical girls. They took out the witch together, barely, but with more training, they'll become the team and find a way to save Mami. So their true reason of going to Kamehameha to find Mami and bring her back. While Homura's inner reason is to find a way to save Madoka, because no one else matters, which kind of sucks. Selfishness, that's her thing. But anyways, I am kind of doubtful. As much as I did enjoy this episode, I fear that I hope it doesn't focus too much on this team and focus much on the original characters, because I've already forgotten their names, to tell you the truth. I remember their personalities, they were good personalities, but I just forgot their names because they didn't have much time to shine as the other characters did. They have that, that reputation of magical girls, that landmark. So hopefully they don't overshadow this new cast in the season. And by the way, we also get a third season as well. That's right, a third season. I believe it's coming out winter as well, so we get a lot of magical girl goodness, and I can always get a lot of that. So anyways, that's what I'm going to leave it here. Looking forward to seeing what happens next and how they're going to do this. Hopefully they focus more on the new cast than anything else, and they'll further the story of this. Well, anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, like, comment, subscribe, and of course, hit that bell icon. This has been Madcrownxox on Anime, signing out.